The next guy that we're going to talk about, Devin Bush, this is the guy that might be the most intriguing to me of anybody on the roster, just because, he was, I think it was third in the Defensive Rookie of the Year voting in his first season in Pittsburgh, and then injured and kind of fell off.
Well, the thing I really, really like about Devin Bush is his ability to run. So during camp, I was just simply right here, just his ability to run. So I'm right on the sidelines watching these things, get a bad knee injury. But you go back like this film here. You go back, this is from his rookie season when he was, in the discussion for Rookie of the Year. And a couple things stand out for me as compared to Tillman, as compared to Wright. Those guys are ascending, right? So those guys are going to get good. This guy came in and was already good right away. And then he had a drop off. And then last year he was way down and he struggled. And I'll be honest with you, I've taken a lot of heat in because I think this guy has an amazing skill set. And I think this guy can really be helpful. But I do know this. With the Browns having JOK and Hicks and having that defensive line and having that secondary, this is the guy that's going to be attacked, and this is the guy that's going to be attacked early. Right now, not saying he can't be good, but this is the unknown with the Browns defense. If he can't do it, obviously they're going to get him out and they'll put Newsome in and play more nickel. But this is the guy on first down that I think can really be beneficial for the Browns with his speed and ability to play. And I thought he ran really, really well at mandatory minicamp. That's all I watched. And people said you don't tackle bags in practice. All I was looking for his movement skills. And his movement skills were elite and explosive, and short area bursts, and short area explosions. Oh, I really think this guy is going to be, as compared to the first two guys, this is going to be an interesting year. But I think this is a guy who can shine because he has guys around him who can make him shine.
The other thing that I think is I think Jim Schwartz already had an idea of how he was going to use Devin Bush. And I think that's as important as anything. We've talked about this before. Guys have certain strengths, and all NFL players have certain weaknesses. You just ask guys to do, it's a matter of matching strengths, and Jim Schwartz is really good at that.
Well, I cannot agree with you more. And again, I learned this from my father and his wisdom, but we would often come into meetings and some of the young coaches would say, this guy can't do this and this guy can't do that. And my dad would always say, okay, what can he do? And whatever he can do, how can we implement that into what we do? And I think Jim Schwartz might be the best at it in the NFL defensively, saying, okay, you can't cover. Well, then I won't make you cover, but you can blitz and I'll allow you to blitz. And I think Devin Bush kind of fits into this, right? He plays the run very well from sideline to sideline. He struggles in coverage sometimes. Well, then don't have him cover. And if he has to cover, make sure you have help behind him. And Schwartz does that very well. He does that with all the guys. And that's why his defenses are so good. And you said it best. He doesn't ask you to do things you can't do. There's a reason you can't do things, and probably you can't fix it. But if you're at the NFL level, you have an elite skill set in something. And that's what Jim Schwartz takes advantage of. Devin Bush has an elite skill set. It just has to be tapped in again. And I think it'll happen because he's not going to be injured. I'd be shocked if he's not successful this year.
Yeah, and Jim Schwartz has said, we kind of have to figure out what guys do well in our system. I mean, that's the definition of good coaching.
Well, if you look at a great example of that would be Grant Delpit. If you go back to last year, everybody loved Grant Delpit. And you and I talked and you said, Lance, why do you think Grant Delpit is going to be so successful? Well, Grant Delpit struggles in zone coverage. Grant Delpit sometimes struggles in man-to-man coverage against certain guys. But I tell you what, you put Grant Delpit down on the line of scrimmage and let him play the majority of time down there, blitz, play the run. He's an absolute destroyer of an offense. He's a menace for an offensive coordinator. So that's what Schwartz did with him. He didn't make him cover too much. He doesn't put him in zone coverage. He doesn't make him cover people that he can't cover. But I tell you what he does do. He puts him down in the box and lets him be a football player. And that's what Grant Delpit does best. Delpit is a great example. He was as good as I thought he was going to be last year because he was going to be able to do what he does and not worry about the things he can't do.